Western Cape High Court has overturned findings of the 1970 inquest that ruled Imam Abdullah Haron died after falling down a flight of stairs. The political activist died while in police custody in September 1969. An inquest the following year ruled that Haron sustained fatal injuries after falling down a flight of stairs at the then Caledon Square police station. His family challenged these findings in the Western High Court in November last year. They believe he was tortured by the notorious security branch. Now, eNCA reporter Kevin Brandt is joining us now just to wrap the day about this ruling this afternoon in the High Court. Kevin, good afternoon. So, what happened in court?
A very good afternoon to you, Dan. Judge Daniel Tulare at the Western Cape High Court went into minute detail with regard to the inquest that was rolled out in November last year. Earlier this year, we heard closing arguments from the party, but the defense back then already went into a lot of detail as to why they and the family believe that the narrative that the Imam fell down a flight of stairs at the police station that we now know as Cape Town Central Police Station was engineered to cover up the conduct of the security branch police officers. Judge Tulare, during today's ruling, also revisited some of the very technical aspects of the case. He highlighted key comments made by the pathologist. There was also an aeronautical engineer that gave evidence with regard to how objects in motion would move and what would likely impact be, obviously referring to the fact that the Imam allegedly fell down the flight of stairs that caused his demise. The judge then today said he overturned that ruling, saying that there are key police officers that he found to have been directly involved in torturing the Imam. There was also were also key witnesses who testified, political detainees at the time, shortly after that as well, who gave an account of how they were managed, first of all, tortured brutally, and that is then the version of Judge Tulare, saying that those key officers they are directly involved in the demise of Imam Abdullah Haron. Just listen to what he said. Dan?
The findings of Magistrate Kun, recorded in the 1970 inquest number 50/70 dated 9 March 1970, as envisaged in section 16(2)(b), as to the cause or likely cause of death, and section 16(2)(d), as to whether the death was brought about by any act or omission prima facie involving or amounting to an offense on the part of any person, are herewith set aside. B. In terms of section 17A, the court records the following finding that differs from a finding made by the magistrate, as well as the respect in which it differs. 1. Section 16(2)(b), finding as to the cause or likely cause of death. The cause of death of Imam Abdullah Haron is attributable to the cumulative effect of injuries under torture, in particular a combination of severe systematic physiological stresses, including crush injury syndrome, precipitated by complications of blunt soft tissue injury, with the possibility of pre-existing coronary artery disease as a contributing factor. 2. Section 2D, finding as to whether the death was brought about by any act or omission prima facie involving or amounting to an offense on the part of any person. The security branch of the South African police are held accountable for the acts and omissions leading directly to the death of Imam Haron.
And Kevin, what was the family's reaction to that ruling?
The family, obviously very emotional, Dan, also during the proceedings last year, broke down in court, especially when the judge made mention of how the Imam was tortured, the pain that he must have endured when they described the specific wounds that he suffered. But today in court, also the Imam's eldest son, Mohammed Haron was 12 years old at the time when his father was incarcerated. He opened the door on the day when the security branch police officers came to inform his mother that his father had passed away while in detention. Fatima Haron Masood, the youngest daughter, she was 6 years old. And the eldest sister, Shamila Shamis, she was 19 and studying in the UK when she got the news that their father had passed away while in detention. They were very emotional, also feeling that they've missed out on a lot of opportunity to spend time with their father, who they described as a jovial, friendly man who always tried to help other people within the community. But saying that this ruling brought some sort of solace and it will help them to find some sort of closure with regard to this matter. Just heard what he said. Dan?
It was always our feeling that, as we had said, he was killed, and there it is. So, in a sense, it brings some sort of closure to ourselves as a family, to our community, and we only hope that our other cases that are still in the queue will have a similar outcome.
Okay, family member, expressing their views after that court ruling. And that's how we wrap Kevin Brandt's update for us. Now,